Good evening, thank you for being with us at the Silverstone Interactive Museum for the launch of the UWR F3 Cup Livery. We've got a few people coming in at the 5 o'clock session, so thank you for joining us. We'll give it a couple of minutes just to let few stragglers join in the call. I'm here with Shane Kelly and Matt Fenton initially. We're very grateful to Silverstone Interactive Museum, formerly the Silverstone Experience, for hosting us for this second of 2 live streams today. And we're going to be unveiling the car in a bit, so we'll be talking to Shane and Matt about the F3 Cup, what we've got to look forward to over this first weekend of racing. I'll be introducing you to some of the students, who I'll do that my best to remember their names, but there's quite a few of them, so do bear with me if I forget. And then later on, we'll hear from Jaina, who's the learning coordinator here at Silverstone Interactive Museum, who's going to give us a bit of a tour of some of the exhibits. So thank you for joining us. We did have some sound issues in the stream this morning, so you might be wondering why we are soft mask. We're a bit muffled for the first 15 minutes of this morning's call, so we're going to do our best to shout at you. If we're loud, that's a good thing. So please bear with us. But we're all definitely COVID-free, and we're all definitely socially distanced for this call. But thank you for being with us again. Yeah, we'll give it another couple of minutes. So please talk amongst yourselves if you wish to. I think we've got some people monitoring the chat. Jack Birch is going to be looking after us on the microphone, on the camera dolly. So we'll do our best to get up close with the car for a bit of some of the exhibits in a little while. You can see a few people still joining, so thank you again for being with us. This is the UWR F3 Cup Livery unveiling live from the Silverstone Interactive Museum, formerly the Silverstone Experience. We'll hear a little bit from Rob and the staff here later on about why the name change and nothing else. So I think let's kick off and ask some questions for Shane and Matt. For those who might not have met Shane and Matt and myself before, my name is Terry Gibson. I'm Development Manager at the University of Wolverhampton. I'm Fundraising and Sponsorships Manager for UWR. So I'm going to be hosting this afternoon and asking some questions. But if there's anything you're interested and keen to know, whack up the chat, I'll be sure to ask later on. Matt Fenton, who are you? What do you do for UWR?
Yes, as Terry introduced, my name is Matt Fenton. I'm the Senior Engineering Technician, predominantly working on the UWR activity, but I've worked across a wider engineering campus as well.
Fantastic, thanks for being with us, Matt. And Shane Kelly, who are you? What do you do for UWR?
I'm Shane Kelly. I'm the professional racing driver for UWR, team mentor, and anything else you throw.
Go for the dog's body.
Dog's body.
Drives the van, gets the coffees, that kind of stuff. Although to be fair, Matt didn't drive the van today because Shane was busy doing social media. So yes, yeah, we share things equally between us as best we can, except the drive. Okay, so in terms of, we last spoke to our sponsors back in February of this year, and it's been even longer since we've been racing. I think we last saw actual track action in anger in October of 2019, thereabouts. It's been a long road to get us here to actually be racing this weekend in the F3 Cup. What's it like to be back here on a couple of days away from actually turning laps?
Yeah, you said to us a few months ago that we'd be on our first race weekend. We just said, nah, not at all. So it's testament to the students at the university actually putting the work in to get us here. It's been a big effort from everyone. We're sort of 4 months behind where we should have been in learning classroom, in the workshop, our build. So the students have really risen to the challenge of getting the car ready, learning from zero. We are a young team as well, so it's important we had to sort of really give the students learning with our early videos and volumes of our build. We did over lockdown, which sort of give us a kick start to actually touch the car live. And then we really picked up from there. It's, like I said, a long road. It feels like a long road to hit. It's only been a few weeks, and here we are. So it's a steep learning curve for students, but practically,
I mean, you say it's been a couple of weeks. When were we actually able to get students back into the workshop and commence work hands-on with the cars?
It was we had the announcement that we could start bringing students back on for practical activities. So we had to change the way that we usually work things. Obviously, that meant smaller numbers, bringing guys into the workshop, and that's across all the activities that we do. They're not just including the Formula 3 car. And so it's been a busy couple of months really, which has flown by really with all the activities that we've been doing. So where we are.
And it's been a week of some late nights as well, I understand. You guys have been burning midnight oil in the workshop, making sure we're all set and ready to go.
That's right. Yeah, students are used to late nights, but yeah, there's been some long nights in the workshop as well, just making sure we're ready for today as well.
Yeah, we found ourselves restricted in the workshop down to 25% like most companies are. And so obviously in the live projects area for us it's been quite hard. So we've had to split into teams. The teams that go into the test rather than the whole team coming in and learning together. So that's maybe dragged us out a little bit longer than it needs to be. But we want to make sure we're 100% coming to a racetrack. And it's paid off.
But one of the challenges for UWR every year is that our senior students, the ones with the big knowledge base, they graduate, and we're reliant on that movement through of the students taking on that and giving that sort of peer-to-peer learning. This, because of COVID, it's been a little bit different, and a little bit even more disjointed. It's been 2 years worth of student knowledge that's sort of passed us by. How's it been? We'll hear some more from the students later, but how have the students risen to that challenge of getting into the workshop and taking the ball by the horns, as it were?
I think they've adapted really well considering the circumstances. Obviously, we knew towards the end of last year that things were going to be slightly different still. Obviously, we went into our second lockdown, but what we tried to do was continue with where we started last year, 2020. We put a load of educational videos together. So where we couldn't do any practical, we used those. And then we've been able to move forward with that really.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's that skills gap between our seniors, which we missed out in 2020, and succeeding without passing any knowledge to the younger students coming in. We did our tests online, but you can't, that human factor, that face-to-face learning is key, and we rely heavily on that as a race team, and no different industry, the person you're working with. So,
but there's been a lot of things to pick up in that time. I'm amazed at how quickly the guys have really picked up and sort of got used to what's involved in the team. We don't treat it like it's an educational environment. We try to treat it like it's real life, a professional team, racing in professionals. So everything we do is run in a professional way. So if that means an early start on a late night, rushing the course and that sort of stuff, that's what we expect. And the guys have picked that up. They've adapted to the roles that we've assigned them, and they've kind of grown from strength to strength.
Amazing stuff. So here we are at Silverstone, home of the British GP. What's it like to race here at the home of racing?
it's always vast. As you come from other circuits, you go from Snare to Donington. Great amazing surface. You get to Silverstone, you realise why it's such a unique circuit. It's vast. It's a long way to get to Alex. It's a long way to get out. To get this rail around with the students to move the kit around Alex and things. It's such a long time, but that's the size it needs to be to host a Grand Prix nowadays. We like it as a setup for the car because it's smooth, there's no bumps in it, it's good tarmac, and it's an easier setup that you can set for the guys.
It's one of those circuits that's had a bit of a mixed bag for UWR over the years. We've had some really strong positive results, and we've had some unfortunate mechanical issues over the years. The weather, I mean, you guys probably can tell, but it's absolutely teeming down with rain. So it's another wet day at Silverstone Park, of course, for us. I think it was a couple of years ago now where we were into a final race weekend, challenging for position number one, and hopefully going to take the title with that final race weekend. 30 sponsors here with us to see us take that checkered flag, and then it rained all day. So total black flag never actually got out on the circuit. So what can we anticipate from this weekend of racing that's coming up?
I think it is changeable. It's hammering down at the moment, but it's looking like it's probably rain start to dry. You think you're on the brink of drying and then it's rain. I think that's probably going to be the basis of possibly this weekend. We expect all
sometimes that wetness has paid off as we gamble on tyres. I mean, that was a couple of years ago as well, where we'd had a bad quality session at the back of the grid. And well, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, 2019 we didn't qualify so well. We sort of caught out and set up in the dry session, and we had to do something with the back of the grid. We gambled. We came to the pits and rained over the session between qualifying and the race. It was a changeable condition, so we gambled from the green flag that came to the pits to the tyre change, 20 seconds down last, and managed to get back to P3 by the end of the race, which was a great achievement. We knew you'd have to leave at the end, but it was maybe too many risks to get that. But we came over loaded from a lowly sort of seventh place on the grid, which was great.
Yeah, I think that's one of the lessons that UWR has learned over the years, is the war on the battle. You've got to take the points where you can and be able to get it all together. One race isn't going to win you a whole championship.
Yeah, I think we've learned from that over the years as well. It's 6 years in the class now, and it's important we learn from our mistakes. And we have over the years, not taking points, we've gone all out just to go for the win. So it's important we start now and start chipping away the points, and then we have that in the bag.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be slightly different for us because obviously we know longer running under MSV, we're under Oslo, so there's no drop scores this year as well. So our strategy's got to be different to the previous years as well, because we can't really afford to have a bad day now. We've got to try and if that means just being in a position not necessarily first, then we will do what we need to do. But we've got to be clever, and we want to make sure that we can sort of clinch this championship.
You say that we've gone from being an MSV Run Championship to a Monoposto Championship. Can you talk through a little bit about what that means for some of the guys on the street that might not be as used to racing?
I think it throws up more positives than negatives. It's a new race car that owns the championship, and it's holds the same name because it's the same grid and same amazing cars are running. These cars are really capable of being our fastest cars in the UK. So it's a championship that has to be run properly, and what they've done is allowed now the European cars, so the Euro Series cars, which are coming in to 17 up to 20 cars, which are Halo cars as well, coming from Europe. And again, expensive cars to run, they're very fast as well. And we had a sort of crossover last year where we weren't competing, but we saw this on the races, that the cars were too far apart, and they were trying to regulate the right kind of weight or slowing them down, speeding them up, and they didn't quite meet the middle, because that's why you were up. And I think that came out at the end of the season and made a good decision by splitting the classes, where you have the European class and you have the F3 Cup. So there's two grids on the same grid, and two races. So we all sit in the F3 Cup class, as we always have, and but we race cars with the same equipment and levels up a little bit.
So is that two grids within one grid, is that going to have an effect on UWR strategy for the year? Are we in danger of you come into traffic or having to let people pass you if they're pulling significantly faster?
Yeah, what we found before, the newer cars are a little bit slower going off the grid. So that's something we need to look for. It cost us a couple of wins really at Knighton last year, where we didn't have true pole position in our class or overall, and we had to sort of sit behind the invitation where that's not going to happen anymore, but it cost us the right side of the grid. So we still need to look for that, because if there are more Euro cars in front of us, we don't see a true pole position if they're at full pace. So that's another thing we have to think about, how we go about getting points and winning our class.
So in turn, we did some tests already this year. We've been to Sexton, we've been to Donington Park last week. How's the car looking for 2021?
I was looking shocked from Donington, looking at the way the guys work, which was great, but seeing how the car performs, maybe compared to previous years, it looks strong. I think the engines come back from the all-round, it's looking pretty good. I think test days are always difficult, but in particular Donington, because Donington tends to be sort of an open session sort of day in terms of the sort of cars that run, so it's an open silent place to get a lot of F1 classic cars up there. But pit lane is very busy and it's incredibly difficult to get clear air. So you get 2 to 3 clear laps out of your half-an-hour session. So I was amazed at just the sort of times we were putting in very quickly, considering that we won't be able to get such a clear lap. With Shane being out of the car for a year worth of racing, with only testing in 2020, I think it's shown that it can still be up there. We've got some good laps on Mclaren, so they're moving into this weekend. That's going to show that we've still got some good pace there. So we're looking forward to testing tomorrow.
In previous seasons, we've been the only moving Honda engine on the grid. Is that still the case for 2021?
Yes, absolutely. Just it's a great thing to have because we have a different package than everyone else. It's sometimes keeps you away from what everyone else is doing, and they can't really copy set up either because we're such a different way to everything. It's great to have. That's what all we know, to be honest. The Neil Brown Honda, it's always sort of kept us a good stead over the season. It's we've got a good relationship with them, plus the student data, the engine data is familiar, carried over year to year.
So in terms of, say, the setup, each way and each circuit has different aspects to it, different positive and negative, I suppose. What's going to be different from our setup from Donington, say, to Silverstone testing tomorrow?
I think, as I said before, we come to circuit. This is like a billiard table compared to some of the circuits we visit. There's a lot of bumps in Donington, some braking zones where you don't see that in Silverstone. So you can affect maybe the balls are far lower, and also some big fast corners that are very wide, so you're carrying more speed as well. So you can afford to carry less ring and basically just streamline the car to get fast out straight away.
I think we've got years of information to work with now. So we've been running F3 Cup since 2016 now. So you go all the way back there, we've got years of information to go over now. So I think where we are now, we're running smart strategy. We need to be clever about how we set the car up. So all you can use is that. So even though the guys are making use of their roles, and we've still got to run with the information we know. But that's why our test days are so crucial, because with the limited running you get, you've got to get at least some running in there, sort of shape up to speed, whilst still learning something new for the car. So it's always a very tricky thing to do.
We've obviously got a simulation set up back at UWR headquarters in Telford. Some of the guys have been using some of the simulators here today as well at Silverstone Interactive Museum, setting some lap records and things like that so far. How useful is simulation setup for keeping you sharp, ready for a full race season? And what can you learn from a simulated car versus getting out there on track with a real one?
I think we've used it in quite a lot of different scenarios. Obviously, the clear scenario means driving that circuit and getting used to the corners and getting up to speed where I turn and everything like that over the race weekend. But what we've done in the past is running the whole simulation of the race weekend for our test day. So we do our test apps and come in the pits, come out the pits. And the games are so good now, you can actually say, oh, there's scrutiny, there's where you put it to go scrutiny, because some of the students haven't never been, so we just used it for that reason as well. So we're lucky to have quite a big ground screen simulator, so you can actually look around and see what's going on. So it's very beneficial to have. So.
Great stuff. Well, speaking about some of our students, I think it's probably time we had a bit of a chat with some of those guys. So, Jaina, I can come back to you again in a little bit, and we'll unveil the cars soon. But if I can ask Kieran, can you join me on camera?
Hey, how's everyone doing?
I think we're all okay, thanks. Hope you guys on chat are able to hear me okay. I think I've not had a flurry of messages saying I'm being too quiet, so I think we're all right. Kieran, what are you studying and what year are you?
So I'm a final year student, so third year, and I study motorsport engineering.
Excellent. What is your role on the F3 team?
So I'm a head data engineer.
What does that entail?
Just kind of looking after the car in all aspects, really, looking at setup, front plans, just maintaining everything on the car.
Now, you were in the team meeting earlier, you were laying down some law on what to expect in terms of times and things like that. Being a third year student now, one of the seniors, and like we said earlier, not having had that 2020 season to build up to it, no pressure, I suppose.
No, I think obviously as part of the youth, it's great by things on my shoulders this year compared to previous years. The guys have done a great job of preparing me for it, and I'm ready to go.
Excellent. So what's your prediction for the weekend? What did you see?
I think it's always tough with changeable conditions, but I can't see why we can't go out there and get wins. I think that's the plan, and that's I think what we've got to stick to.
Some of the guys earlier were saying 3 poles out of 3, so we've got some aspirations to live up to. Really exciting times though. I mean, it must feel quite exciting to be here at last after 18 months without any racing.
Definitely, I think obviously testing is a completely different thing to racing. And the first race in, as you say, that's part of 18 months to be at Silverstone. It's amazing. Years I've been coming here watching British Grand Prix, so to actually engineer a car here is almost a dream.
Excellent. So what's your end goal? Where do you want to be after finishing your studies? What's next?
So ultimately I want to end up in Formula One, doing a similar role to what I do now, really. But obviously see what steps I've got to get through to get to that point. And just work my way up the ladder in most ideally.
Yeah, it would be a big and daunting ladder, I suppose, but having this kind of thing on your CV must be pretty exciting.
I think that's the thing, like the experience we get here is different to any other university. In terms of how we're set up to go out into industry, I don't think there's any university that do it better than the University of Wolverhampton.
That's very kind of exciting. We like to think we do okay, and thanks in no small part to people like yourselves watching the stream today. So thank you for making everything possible for our students. Kieran, thanks so much. Unless there's anything you'd like to say to our guys at home, or anything, any words of wisdom from third year students?
I think just thanks for supporting us, really. Obviously, we couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you.
Thank you, Kieran. It's a pleasure having you on, and good luck over the weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Laura, do you want to come in and say hello to the stream for me? You're going to have to shout, Laura, so that we make sure that the mic picks us up. So, maybe we'll stand a bit closer to the mic. Laura, what are you studying? What year are you in?
So I'm doing mechanical engineering in the first year at Livery.
Okay, great. And how's it been coming from that COVID experience of learning largely at home to being in the workshop?
Yeah, it's much better being able to come in and work on the car. Like obviously, the videos are really helpful, so you get used to it. You get used to where everything is and what sort of like tools you want to use and things. But it's massively different to you being able to get everything out, look at all the different components, and start working.
And what's your role within the team?
So I'm one of the front technicians. This weekend I'll be doing the whole front, and then I was doing the centre as well.
Okay, so for somebody like me that drives a car but doesn't know anything other than that, barely even bothers changing the oil, because I have mechanics that do that kind of thing for me. What does that entail then when you're looking after the front end of the car?
So we did all the setup before we came now. So a lot of things that we do is like probably that will be coming on and off. We'll be changing the tyres. And then in the centre, I'll be looking after Shane. So if the seat coming in and out of get his wheels or maintenance, and making sure everything's live. So we've got extinction for all the patching and
As we said, I think on the stream earlier, just sometimes those tyre changes can be quite important for us. They've led to some big points. So have you been practicing running drills while you're...
yeah, we do pit stop practice. So we have a little drills to get out, change tyres. So it'll be a bit different, I think, because normally we'll have a lot more people. So we'll obviously practice that again, I think, to get running smooth.
That's a good point, because of the COVID restrictions that still exist for this weekend and stop being quite so stringent on Monday. We're a much smaller team than we would normally be. How many students are going to be with us this weekend?
We're going to have 6 people.
Okay, so much smaller than normal.
Yeah, I think we've got 16 on team normally. So.
Yeah, so less than half the students. So, and you're going to be overall as the team.
Yeah, it's been very busy, but I think it'll be really good. Be the first race I've done.
Excellent. Well, fingers crossed for the rest of the season. Where's all this going to lead for you?
Hopefully, I'm quite competitive, so I'd love to be in motorsport. But the other areas is aerospace.
Okay. So, will that help you look at aerodynamics of the car and our setups area you want to move into?
Yeah, I think it'll help me, whichever way I go. It's still experience, it's still like hands-on. And obviously we do a lot of area parts and stuff, and a lot of the engineering behind it you can carry through. So.
Wonderful. Well, fingers crossed for the rest of the season. All I'd like to say, thank you so much, and thank you for coming and talking to our audience today. So thank you very much, Lord.
Thank you very much.
Adrian, if you want to come and join us as well, and once again, just appreciate it for me, that would be lovely. So, Adrian, what year of study are you in, and what are you studying?
I'm a first year engineering student. It's my second year at university.
Okay.
And first year with the racing team.
Cool. And what's your role within the team?
I'm a three-month technician. So I'm a break with the car, looking after wheels and brakes. Going in gearbox line, touch lines, looking at the engine, gearbox, all that.
Sounds like a lot to keep track of.
There's quite a bit, yeah.
And had you got a lot of track experience before getting involved with the team?
I've done a few track days, nothing major. A bit of formal student work at college.
Okay.
Never really been onto full competition type thing. That's why
A big learning curve. Enjoying it then?
definitely really enjoying it.
Excellent. That is living up to the expectation of being here. So how does engineering something like this compare to a formal student car?
There's a lot more to it. For a student college, we compete for anything. It was more just learning activities. With this, it's a lot more serious, a lot more activities to make, being able to check things, making sure the car's spot on.
And how's it been this week? Because it's been a bit full on this week, some late night finishes.
Yeah, that's the other thing about setting the car up. Thing that's time to do is the car to make it in the workshop. But we're all committed, we're all very well to get the car ready. We all want to see us win the race each year.
Yeah, well, you mentioned winning the races. Are you predicting big things for us this weekend?
I mean, hopefully we'll win. That's why we're here. Obviously, it's unpredictable. Yeah, we all want to win.
Well, I'm hoping that we are going to see some strong points this weekend, but sometimes you learn more from the things that go wrong than you do the things that go right. So, and that's a big part of racing. So, good luck to you as well, Adrian. Thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with our guys. Just a quick look at the time. Shane, Matt, do you want to come back in and just step around here? Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, so big words from the students. Must be pretty proud of the team to be ready to rock and roll as we are.
Yeah, definitely. It's always nice to see that the students enjoy the work that we do and all the activities that we run. And it's great to watch them grow, especially when they're new students coming in their first year, just to see where they transition from the start to where they go. And senior students who end up going deeper this year. And it's a big wide world of industry. So
yeah, you mentioned industry, and that's a huge part of our learning experience for students, being able to interact with the wider industry, both in terms of motorsport, but also in terms of the supply chain and gets it there, and with sponsors like yourselves that are on the call tonight as well. And that's a huge thing for us, having that faith and showing through to our students what the actual world of work is going to be like. I think it's probably about time we show these fine folks in the car and give you an opportunity to see what exactly you're making possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can come corner, we'll unveil as we go along. I'm going to step out of the way. Hopefully our impromptu boom is not going to take a chunk out of the side of the car. So we're relying on Birch to keep us steady here. Going okay so far. So here we are. Thanks so much to all the sponsors that we're so grateful to for making racing in UWR possible. We've got a couple of new people on the car in very recent times. We've got Eclipse Magnetics on the back of the car. We've got Myra Technologies as well, who joined us recently. We've got some sponsors that have been with us for a long time now. We're incredibly grateful for their support as well. Companies like FPC Manpower, Quick Grind as well, and then there's those like like Ocean Scan and Circle that are supporting us across both this car and the Morgan Challenge team, and sponsors like Etherflex, who came on board just at the start of the 2020 season, and unfortunately never got to see their logo on the car in anger last year. So I'd love to mention everybody by name, of course, but there's 35, 40 sponsors that are making this racing team possible. So I just like to say thank you to you all, and it's a privilege to work with you and be able to showcase a car like this to you. We're going to give another pass around, I think, just to make Birch's life that bit more difficult to dolly around the car again. Only because it amuses me to do so.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, you're welcome, Birch. No problem at all. I will, of course, post some pictures to everybody. You may have already seen the car on the social media channels earlier today. So we've certainly got a lot of good interaction. I don't know about you guys that are watching the stream right now. I'm really enjoying the matte black on the car this year. I think it looks particularly mean with the nice accent in the red as well. So it's another, well, it's a labour of love for all the guys that do the designs on the livery setup. So I mean, that's Shane and Matt's hard work late into the night, making sure the livery is looking tip top. And we're so pleased and privileged to be able to showcase every sponsor on the car. So thank you so much for everything you make possible once again. Shane, Matt, we've mentioned a couple of times the other sort of programs that we're offering at the minute with former student, with Morgan. What's been happening with the Morgan car, for instance? Where are we up to with that?
Yeah, it's been a very busy time, not just with the F3 Cup, but the Morgans as well. So far, we've got 2 Morgan +4 Morgans in the workshop, which the guys have been working on. Obviously, we've had to reduce the number of students that come in 25% occupancy, which has had its own challenges, but in some ways it's been good because it's given the students a chance to really get involved in what's involved in the cars, and with less numbers they can really sort of focus on elements individually. But obviously the cars are road cars. We've been tasked with the job of converting them into race cars, and we're going to be the first people to run these new CX platform cars, which has had its own tasks that things to be done. One of the cars has gone back to paint currently, which we're expecting to finish by sort of next week onwards, and the other car's got to go back to be painted. But obviously there's a lot of development work involved there, so it's not an easy task getting to that point, but I think we're moving forward really good, and the cars are looking like we'll be ready to be out for the first race event we're looking to going out.
Amazing stuff. Exciting times to have the Morgans out as well, and they're going to be running as well at Silverstone later in the year. So we get 2 bites of this Silverstone cherry and 3 if we include former student, which absolutely should. One of the cars of ours that sort of started it all for us was the UWR Formula Renault. It's on semi-permanent display now here at the Silverstone Interactive Museum. We're going to see it in a little bit when Rob from Silverstone Interactive shows us around. It's a car that we've used a lot for exhibition events and also for interactive learning opportunities for children and young people getting that STEM out there. That's a huge thing for UWR that's been missing for us. We're hopeful that we're going to get back to some of that this year. From that perspective, having an opportunity to talk to children and young people must be something we need.
Definitely. We can go out more, probably twice the race event outings to schools, to STEM fairs, and anything to interact normally over a year. So since we kicked off in 2015, and the Renault's made a big part of that. It's a spectacle for a racing car somewhere where it's not meant to be, for sponsorship and showing what we do. Also, it's a car we can use for STEM as in wheel changes activity, and going and showing schools how a race team works, all the mechanical parts in the car, the aerodynamics it uses as well. well. So since we sort of retired the car in 2015, it's not really stopped. It's been more than most cars, but in static capacity. But it's still an active race car. It's great to have it here at Silverstone as well. It's got a lot of history in that car for us. So it was our first race car for 2015, and we had 2 wins. One of them actually here. So a wet race, as we spoke about earlier, was the wettest ever, and we were in a class where we were racing against F3 cars in the Formula Renault, and winning the correct race by a minute here on GP was great, and it's really boosted UWR, I think, into where we are now. So.
Yeah, those early experiences really set the tone for UWR coming into a class like that without any sort of expectation on you walking away with race wins made the whole paddock sort of take notice that UWR for a Formula stick for a student team punches above its weight and really is has been a championship contender and will be again.
That's right.
Yeah. I think it's worth saying at this point that it's not just children and young people that get to do some of the stand hands-on stuff and do tyre change activities. We always do enjoy getting sponsors to come and have a go at doing the tyre change, getting on the simulators and things like that. So hopefully we're going to get back to that kind of activity over the course of this year. Again, something that's been sorely missed by the team. We're just excited to have COVID. Well, it's not over, but we're heading in the right direction. On the subject of STEM and learning opportunities, I think now's a good time to bring in Rob from Silverstone Interactive Museum. I know he's loitering outside, just outside shots. Thank you, Shane and Matt. We'll see you again in a minute, I think. But Rob, hello. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for hosting us today. It's been a pleasure being here. I've been here a few times now, but it's always a thrill coming back. You must have applause every time you walk through the doors.
Very, very lucky to work here. It's a fantastic collection we've got. Also to have you guys here and have the enthusiasm of the young people, the students we've had here today has been absolutely brilliant. They've had a thrill in these simulators. We've got some brand new simulators fitted today, so they were our guinea pig customers as well. So I think they've really enjoyed that. So it's been great having them here.
I know you've been a busy man today floating around, but have you had a chance to take a look at some of those leaderboards, check out the times?
I have. There was a little bit of a shocker that one of your students actually beat Jaina, I believe. I don't know if that's been mentioned publicly yet.
Oh, gosh.
But no, they've done very well, actually. A couple of them were very, very good. And clearly, one of them mentioned he spent quite a number of hours on that specific simulator program, so no doubt.
Well, I imagine that's probably why he's leading the charge.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about Silverstone Interactive Museum. You were the Silverstone Experience. There's been a name change during the COVID lockdown. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so the name change came about primarily for us to say what we do on the tin, really. We are an interactive museum, and that's what we are. The Silverstone Experience came about as a name through, it kind of evolved through a number of years before we opened. What became very, very apparent as soon as we opened the doors, a lot of people thought, Silverstone Experience, we're coming here to experience driving, and unfortunately that's not quite what we do here. We have a fantastic experience, and customers they come, but that's not what they're doing here. So we looked and we went through various consultations, but actually bringing the museum in is very significant for us. We house a fantastic collection, lots of history here, going right way back to motorsport in the 1940s, and even the story of Silverstone going right back to the 12th century when it was a priory here, and kind of why we call each corner what we call it. So it's really important for us to bring that museum here. And the interactivity, we've got lots of things here to do, to touch, everything from children, young and old, to come and interact with. So it really, the name change came about through that need to really say what we did on the tin. It's helped. We had a lot of positive responses from it already, and we look forward to on Monday the doors opening, as shut the rest of the world has, and we look forward to those doors opening and welcoming lots of customers in. It's going to be something good to see.
I mean, I was lucky enough to be there at your launch event back in February of 2020, and you were open for a matter of days.
Yes, we opened, I think it was March the 6th. We had a royal opening with Prince Harry and now Sir Lewis Hamilton of the years who came and opened the venue officially. Within 2 weeks, we were unfortunately closed with the COVID lockdown as the rest of was. So it's been very difficult over the summer. We only opened sporadically just before Christmas. So this really for us, it feels a much more fresh opening. We've got some new exhibits, which I'll talk about, show you a couple of things in a moment. And having lots of events like this is really, really good for us to not only launch your fantastic, which does look brilliant, and I love the garage balls and everything, it's really good with the car. But having things like that is giving us a sense of real livening up everything for us. The circuit's now live again. There's lots of things happening out of our windows. You can see. You guys will be out as of tomorrow on track, and it's great to be able to see that. So we're really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Can't wait to come and see lots of people there. Socially distant,
Of course, yes.
But lots of people here enjoying the interactive experience here because it's. I've been here 2 or 3 times now, and it's great fun every time. Yeah. So can you tell us a bit about your role here within the experience?
So specifically here, I look after a lot of our education programs. Part of our charitable remit is that we are an education establishment. So we welcome in young people right the way from the year 1, lots of 5 years old, right the way up to university students as we are today. And it's all about inspiring people into engineering and motorsport, and not necessarily motorsport. I heard you mention supply chain earlier on. That's just as important. It's bringing people into engineering and seeing what's out there and what they can, what the experience has to offer. For us, though, we get a lot of young people who only see F1 on MotoGP. It's what's seen on TV, and that's what we work. And it's really important for us, this link with the University of Hampton, that we can see your motorsport engineering program. And we can sort of signpost the young people, particularly those in year 9, year 10, thinking about GCSEs, thinking about A-levels, all that kind of thing. Well, actually, these are the kind of courses on offer. And your course being fantastic, hands-on, having the actual car, and we'll look at Formula Renault, which is, as you said, semi-permanent exhibit just next door. Being able to signpost the young people and say, look, these are the kind of things on offer, adds to that inspiration, really helps us getting that message across. And hopefully we can start to direct some students in the next couple of years directly into your course. Yeah.
Well, we've certainly seen we've always put prospectuses, course card information out here in the lobby. And, yeah, you're on to us all the time asking more in the short periods where you've been open. So I'm looking forward to running out of supplies when everybody's jumping in the bits of the study. No, I think that's an important point. It's certainly that's why the university is so excited about how do you get into Formula One. If you can't get into Formula One, what can you do and still dance your passions? So we're privileged, and thank you to all of you who make that possible. We've got some exhibits to show us.
I have, so we're going to take one, and hopefully it looks as smoothly as.
We're just going to unplug my laptop from the wall.
We now have the microphone to add to the complexity.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll just start over here with this fantastic car. And I know there's really inconvenient to place a pillar in the way, but we have this phenomenal Racing Point, as it was, the race team that's now Aston Martin. So we work very closely with Aston Martin Formula 1 team. They are literally based across the road, less than 100 metres from our front door. This car was brought to us for display, and we've done a couple of events for them. And it's great for our customers to be able to see a current, and I'll move out of the way, current and real F1 car. And what's been really good today is the students that have come with the University of Wolverhampton is they've been eyeing something, particularly around the back of the car, because this is where it was quite controversial with the Mercedes parts and things in it. But I've been talking to students here quite a lot about this car. They've been having a really good close-up look, and it's great for our customers to be able to see that. One of the comments we often get is about the size of it. It is so large, and you compare it even to the Formula 3 car that you guys have bought in. They are massive, the current Formula 1 cars, and it'd be interesting to see with the rule changes in 2022 how that develops. But everything with the halo and customers being able to see that kind of car is really exciting, and it's great for us to have it here. And we have tomorrow we've got a Williams F1 car joining us as well for the collection for a short period of time, which will be good to see. I'm just going to take you a little bit further on this way, if we can get the mic this way. And a car that some of you involved with the university program for a little while will recognise. It's the Formula Renault car that was being talked about on the screen at the moment. I'm going to move out of the way of very carefully operated camera. So this is the Formula Renault car that, as Terry said, has been in semi-permanent residence with us It's in the old livery, but it's a car that I know is close to the hearts of you guys as a team. It's one that was raced very regularly and very successfully. What's great for us is when I do my workshops with the young people, I can talk about, show them objects, like I've got front wings, rear wings, tyres, exhaust pipes. I can show them in the workshop, and then I can bring the education groups down and actually show them how the front wing works with the back wing, how the tyres work with an actual car. And it's great to go to have this here. The young people get really close up to the car and actually understand some of those concepts of things like aerodynamics, which are actually quite difficult, particularly for our younger children to kind of understand how they work. It's on display here as a photo opportunity as well. So the customers come and they can have their photos taken with this and a fantastic trophy, which I'm going to show you in a second. You can just about see in the background. We'll get closer up to it in a moment. So customers go away with a photo with the trophy and this car, and they take that photo away as well. So it's a really important car for us to have it. The customers get up nice and close to it as well. So it's great to see. And you've got a lot of your sponsors will be going away with those pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really exciting opportunity to know that in people's living rooms across the country or on digital data sticks, they tend to be now. Sponsors' logos are being seen everywhere. So yeah, it's great to see the car here. Like I say, semi-permanently, we will get sort of updating delivery at some point. We've got some racing to do first, but we will update delivery soon. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to put it here.
It's great. So if I take you a little bit further and have a look at this fantastic trophy. The trophy I'm about to show you is very, very special. It's the RAC trophy. This is the one the British Grand Prix winners get given. We've got it on display at the moment. It's actually Dr. I don't know if that's too bright.
Massively bronze.
Yeah, so we've got this phenomenal RAC trophy. What I will do is just bring it a little bit closer to the camera. I didn't do this earlier, but this is the actual trophy. It's actually pretty weighty. And it's the one that the drivers get presented with. We've got it on loan for summer. It will go away for the British Grand Prix, so for it to be presented and then come back to us. And if I can just bring the camera up there, you can look at some of the names. I'm not sure if we can show that, but you've got the names of the winners on here. And there are a phenomenal collection of names, the likes of Jackie Stewart, Damon Hill, Nigel Matson, and other well-known drivers that you'll know there. It is a fantastic thing for us to have here. And if I know the invite has gone out before, if any of you as sponsors want to come along, get in touch with Terry. We'll arrange that for you, and you can come down and see some of these exhibits close hand. And I'm happy to take you around and show you a couple of things as we go around. Okay, just going to
yes, yeah. Hopefully, we'll be reopened soon. So
yeah, I'm just going to now have a quick look at some of our collection of Formula One cars and artifacts we've got here on show. And some of these haven't actually been seen by the public yet, so you really are getting a first glimpse of a couple of things. They're doing a great job with this pole at the front. So what we're going to do is just kind of stop about there, and I think you can see this car here is one of our most popular exhibits, and maybe we'll slide the camera forward a little bit. This is Nigel Matson's car from 1992. Now, I'm sure some of you will remember, I remember being here as a young lad watching this car on track. This is the car that Nigel Matson won the British Grand Prix here in '92. Also went on to win his World Championship that year in this car. It's our most popular exhibit. It's the one that the customers most like to see. And it is an actual car. It's an actual running car. This one was running on track about 2 months before it came here. It's owned by Williams Heritage, and Kieran Chandok, the Williams Heritage driver, who's also the Sky TV presenter. I'm sure you've heard of him, seen him before. He was driving this car out on track. It's got everything in it. It's got the gearbox, the engine. The only thing that's not in it is fuel. It's a very special car in terms of it technically very, very advanced. Its suspension used to move hundreds of times a lap up and down, so the car was at the optimum point on track at any one point to make sure the tyres were getting lots and lots of grip. So it's a fantastic car. We are really, really lucky to have it here. And so Williams Heritage, it's been great for them to loan us that. And that's one of the cars that I'd like to get people up close to, and it's a real chance to get to see a piece of motorsport history. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, and I'll speak slowly so you can move the camera at the same time, is this race suit here. Now, this suit has not been seen by any members of the public yet. This is the suit that Lewis Hamilton wore, and underwear, boots, gloves, that he won the British Grand Prix in last year in 2020. This is the actual suit that's worn. It's something I use for education purposes, and I was talking to some of the people that were online a little earlier about some of the things that we have here. So we have a suit. It's very lightweight material in comparison to some of our older suits. It's got the printed transfers on to take out the cotton, the extra weight, and things like that. So they go down to that level of detail. And even we might do something with the camera. I'm sure they just move the camera again. Sorry, I did this earlier. But we've got the transfer of the watch. They don't want the drivers carrying the weight of the watch in the car, but they do want that marketing value. So the IWC watch is on there as Lewis's personal sponsor that he has there. And yeah, it's a fantastic, fantastic thing to have on show that the customers don't normally get. The helmet is very, very special to us. This is the actual helmet that Lewis wore in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You can see the stone chips and things on it. It was designed specifically for that race in 2019 when he just won his 6th world title. And if you see at the very top, you can see the 6 stars for his then 6th world title. I know he's gone on to win another one then. But this helmet's very special to us because it's the one that we were talking about the royal opening a moment ago that Lewis presented to Prince Harry, our royal patron, who's given to us to have on display here. And we've got a photo of the two of them with that presentation just there. So that's really, it's not the suit that matches that, the helmet that matches that suit, but it's a very, very special artifact for us to have here. And one that was personal to Lewis as well, which is just great to have here. We'll now move on, and we're not going too far this time with the camera. Just show you a couple more of the F1 cars that we've got here. And all of the ones we have on this plinth are all winners. So this one we've got here, the Mclaren, some of you may well recognise. This is the one that David Coulthard used in that famous Easter Grand Prix in 2000. And this is the car that won the British Grand Prix in 2000. It was a horrendous weekend for any of you who were here. It was very much one of those camping in a field of mud. It was very Glastonbury-esque that weekend. But this car was the one that Coulthard, it was a little bit of a shocker that he won that Grand Prix. It was certainly not predicted that he was going to win that one. And it was a fantastic drive by him. One of the things to note, and I do talk to some of the guys about, is that one of the questions I often get is, why have the tyres got these grooves on? Because they're clearly not wet tyres. The idea was at Formula One at that period of time, they wanted to slow the cars down. So they thought, we'll take some of that surface area grip away from the tyres. That means the drivers would slow down. It looked horrible. The cars didn't look particularly good with those kind of grooves in the tyres. But it's one of those things. It's nice to have that kind of piece of history here. It wasn't like that for very long, but it is nice to have those cars on show. This one is owned by McLaren. And it's been taken out a few times over lockdown. Look for some things on Sky TV over the British Grand Prix weekend, where McLaren were doing some work with this and the Senna 88 McLaren, the famous McLaren 4.4 that was raced by Senna, and some work with this. So I'll be looking forward to seeing some of that out on Sky TV very soon. And the final car, if we just move the camera this way, just look at that. So this one, it's a real favourite of mine in the exhibition here, is the Red Bull. So this one is quite a famous car. This one is owned by Mark Webber himself. It's the car that Red Bull gave him excuse me, when he left Red Bull at the end of his tenure, went on to drive Porsche in the World Endurance Championship. So this is the car he was given. It's the one he won the British Grand Prix in 2010 in. The last Grand Prix on the old configuration with bridge and Priory Bend in that Grand Prix. It's also very famous because it's him and Sebastian Vettel at the time were having a bit of a row. It was a very public row, and as he crossed the line, the words to his engineer that were then broadcast to the world were "not bad for a number 2." And it was all an argument about this front wing and Sebastian Vettel having a slightly better one than him, etc., etc. It's a really interesting car. You get up close. It's got the original left duct still in it. And it is, the reason I like it is because it's not owned by one of the teams. it's as it was. It's still got Mark's original belts in. It's still got the original steering wheel in, and it is as was in race trim. It's still got little chip marks around the headrest and things like that, which are really good to see. It's as used car. So yeah, real pleasure to have it here. And what's great is across these 4 cars that I've shown you, can really start to see the development of Formula One through the last 30 years, from early 1990s, 2000, 2010s, and 2020 with the racing point we've got over there. So it's great that we're able to show that engineering development across those years. And from an education point of view, it's really important for us to be able to do that. Okay. Thank you. That's
so much,
okay.
Rob. Wow. A whistle-stop tour of just some of the fabulous exhibitions that you have here at the museum. As Rob was saying, I think one of the things we're really keen to do as COVID unlocking continues is welcome yourselves down here to join Rob and the team to have a look around and really get a feel for what exactly is on display here. There's so much to see and do and learn about motorsport. I mean, I've been here a few times now. I'm still mind blown every time I walk through the door. So thank you, Rob, for hosting us today, and all the rest of the team here that made it possible for us to unveil our car for you. I think we're almost at 6 o'clock. It's almost the end of the day, and to be honest, at this point, the guys have got a long stint to get the car into the garage and things tonight, ahead of an early start on track tomorrow. So I think at this point we will have to say goodnight to you all, but leave me with words of saying thank you again for everything you've made possible for us so far. Over the weekend, one of the things I haven't said at all during this stream, I said about 8 million times in the first one, we're very fortunate that F3 Cup is going to be streamed live on the internet this weekend. There's an email that I've sent to everybody. In fact, you're in the stream right now. We've had that email. We have details of how it's going to be streamed over the F3 Cup Facebook page, and I couldn't remember it earlier. I still can't now. But the YouTube channel for the Racing Live, of where to watch F3 Cup with us over the weekend. So really hope you'll be able to join the stream, follow our social media channels at UWR Racing on pretty much everything. We'll be making sure that you're kept up to date with how Shane, Matt, and the team are all getting on over the course of the weekend. And I'll be putting out a recording of this video next week, along with all the updates on everything that's happened to UWR over the weekend. So watch out for that in your inbox in the middle of next week, along with some racing, some racing news, I suppose, is the best way of putting it, from one of our journalists and students. So great to have you with us this evening. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for supporting UWR. Really excited to be back to actually do some racing again after 18 long months of sitting and watching and waiting. And I'm sure you're excited to be back with us too. We'll leave you there. Thank you so much, and see you over the weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.